Alright, this is John Cullen with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we'll be talking about the Green Star Pro Juicer. Now, the Green Star Pro Juicer is actually our best-selling twin gear juicer. It has 100% stainless steel gears and a 15-year warranty. It also is ETL sanitation certified, which means it can be used in a juice bar or a restaurant. Now, that being said, this is a light-duty commercial machine, although it is a commercial approved machine for the health department. You know, this machine has a 30-minute duty cycle, so you know you're not going to be sitting here cranking out juices all day. But you know, for homeowner use, it's a perfect machine built to commercial specifications. I do like this machine over the Elite model, just because there's about 10 different things that I've determined are different between this one and the Elite model. That being said, what you are seeing today in this episode will also apply to the Green Star Elite model, which is basically the same thing as this. So check the link down below in the description for a video where I go over the differences between the Pro and the Elite. And if I had the choice, I would definitely, you know, spend a little bit more to get the Pro, just due to the 3-year longer warranty, as well as the 100% stainless steel gears. Now, in this episode, actually, I'm going to be talking about juicing fruits. And if you have seen any of my other videos on the Green Star Elite or Green Star Pro models, I do mention that this is not the machine that you want to get if you want to juice a lot of fruit, especially fruits by themselves or alone, right? Every different juicer has its own set of pros and cons, right? Some might be harder to clean, some might be, you know, really expensive, some might you have to like cut your produce into little pieces, which some people don't like to do. And the other thing is that some juicers will juice certain produce items more effectively than others, right? So for example, the twin gear auger style, this style machine is best for juicing like root vegetables. Hands down, it grinds up the root vegetables at a slow speed, squeezes out the juice, and gets you probably the driest pulp out of any slow juicer that we offer. You know, likewise, for things like stringy vegetables, celery, right? This is probably the best machine for celery in terms of yield and not having to pre-cut your celery into little bits like you do on some juicers, because you just put it through there, you know, the pocket recesses on the teeth, basically just, and some of the cutting blades cut up all the little celery strings so it'll never get stuck in your machine like a Champion juicer or even like a grinder on a 2-stage hydraulic press would. On leafy greens, this juicer will juice leafy greens great. The challenge with leafy greens, although it juices them great and makes a high yield, if juicing leafy greens straight, it will make, you know, more foam than other machines. So for that reason, you might want to get a single auger juicer for leafy greens. And then on the fruits, right? On fruits, I've had some harrowing experiences trying to juice, like for example, pineapple in my friend's original Green Star or Green Life juicer, where it just backed up and it just didn't work, because I actually on a daily basis use a vertical single auger juicer. That's a style machine that works best for me and my lifestyle. That being said, the reason why I would go with this one is if you want to get the highest yield, because if produce costs are really expensive for you to buy organic produce. I'm pretty lucky I get really cheap produce and I have a whole garden full of produce I could juice at any one time. So if you're trying to like get more out of your juice, get more out of your produce, this machine will be the one. And the other reason why I would choose this machine is if you are working with a chronic health condition, right? If your health is failing, you're in an active situation, you're having to fight some kind of disease, right? I personally wouldn't mess around. I would get this machine because based on the data I've seen, this machine makes the highest nutritional quality compared to other juicers out there, you know. And depending how much more, John, I don't know much. I don't know. You know, it depends on the specific nutrient, but overall, this machine, based on the studies I've seen, will produce the highest and most nutritious juice, including, you know, some of the different overall. Some of the different minerals, as well as, in my opinion, some of the antioxidants. And it has a special far infrared and magnetic technology that is said to help stabilize the juice so it lasts longer if you want to store it, and also will help pull out additional nutrients out of the juice. That being said, I do encourage you guys to drink your juice right after it's made. If you do want to store your juices, I definitely would recommend using this machine and also using my vacuum storing technique that I'll put a link down below to a video so you guys can see how I store some of my juices for, you know, a week easily. But anyways, on this machine of juicing fruits, it's not known to juice straight fruits that well. And if you want to juice straight fruits, like, don't get this machine. Like, a better juicer for straight fruits, like I'll be juicing today, cucumbers. You're like, John, cucumbers, they're vegetables, man, they're not fruits. Well, botanically they are a fruit because cucumbers contain a seed, and cucumbers are much more like fruits, than, say, broccoli is or something like that. So yeah, things like tomatoes and bell peppers also considered fruits, although we classify them as vegetables probably for some kind of import laws. But they have a much softer texture than the hard vegetables. And hard vegetables with things with fiber do great in this machine. Things that are softer may not do so well in this machine. Now, TriBest has come up with a solution. They will sell you what's called a fruit attachment knob. And the fruit attachment knob, it takes the place of this guy right here. And this is actually known as the outlet adjusting knob. And the outlet adjusting knob basically has a little spring in here. So when you push on the spring, there's a lot of tension that basically will keep the produce in the machine and won't let it out until it's fully wrung out and fully dry, and there's a lot of back pressure. But this back pressure can only occur if you have hard fibrous material such as in carrot, jicama, celery, broccoli, or leafy greens. This will not occur if you have a soft texture, like the cucumbers. No, so TriBest did come out with what's called a fruit attachment, or soft fruit attachment. So what this attachment does, it basically is an outlet adjusting knob, looks just like this, but it has a softer spring tension. So the softer spring tension may help some of the pulp come out of the machine. That being said, it's not going to be as dry because the spring tension is what actually keeps the pulp in there to get wrung out further. And the other thing I'll say about the fruit attachment is that, while it could be a good investment if you want to use straight fruits, if you're juicing, fruits and vegetables in one juice, there's no need to buy it. I'll save you guys some money. Because basically if you're just juicing fruits and vegetables like cucumbers with carrots and with celery and with a whole bunch of other stuff, this machine's going to work great. You just want to rotate the items you're putting in. So don't put like all the cucumbers, then all the celery, then all the carrots. Put like a small bit of cucumber in there, a little bit of celery, and then follow up by a carrot. And then repeat that process. Because you're varying the textures and you have a small percentage of fruit texture, which is the softer texture, it's going to work great with this outlet adjusting knob in there, screwed down all the way. And the other benefit is when you're juicing the fruits with the hard vegetables, you're going to get a higher yield actually on the fruits because the pulp is going to get intermixed in with the hard vegetables. That's not going to come out until it's fully dry because you're using a higher spring tension. So I hope you guys followed that. But I know there's some times when you just want to juice fruits, and this might be the juicer you have or you're going to get. So I'm going to show you guys actually how to juice fruits in the Green Star Lead without the fruit attachment. That may help because this is actually a juice I would make normally in my Omega vertical juicer, the VSJ843, because that machine handles fruits great. It doesn't get as high yield on the hard vegetables like the Green Star Pro would, but the VSJ843 is also a little bit easier to clean for me. So yeah, that's what I'm going to show you guys today. We're going to see how this machine does and use some of my techniques that you will learn so that you could juice pretty much straight fruits in the Green Star Lead. I mean, I've yapped so much, let's get into the video. We're going to turn this machine on. First step is, before you even start juicing, is select proper produce for juicing. When juicing fruits in any juicer, I don't care what juicer you use, you want to get nice, hard, firm produce, right? If you have like soft produce that's like old and mushy and really spongy, that's not going to juice well. You want to get the hardest, freshest, firmest produce you could find, all right? Next step is we're just going to go ahead and cut up a section of this, and let's see, make sure it fits in the feed chute, and we're going to push it in. We have the spring tension full down, and as you can hear, we're pushing that in, and as you can see, we're getting some juice, and as you can see, actually that went all the way inside the machine without any issues, so that's definitely really good. Let's go ahead and cut this into some smaller pieces and see if we can get this machine to back up or see what's going to happen today. So the other thing when juicing fruits or any food in any juicer, you want to take your time, right? Push the last produce into the machine, let the machine run, and take a look, especially down in the Green Star Lead, like in the little two gears that are running together. Make sure there's not pulp coming back up at you. And in this case, it looks like it's working great. So we got this fully cranked down, and we got a nice green juice coming out. and I'm not seeing any pulp coming out of the machine yet, so this is quite impressive. Alright, so far so good. I've juiced almost one full English cucumber organic in here, and I'm seeing some pulp like sitting in the bottom of the feed chute there that's starting to come up at me. So when this happens, basically I want to try to push some more produce in there and hold this down. But what's going to happen is you can see my pusher has all this juice and pulp on it. So you can kind of try to sit there to like help push it down and push it in. As you can see, we've juiced a lot, but I think now it's the point where the pulp is not coming out because there's too much spring tension on here, and it's it's not going to work. So if I try to juice another one, actually let's see if we could juice another one and see what happens here. Actually, that'd be fun. Alright, so as you guys can, I don't know if you guys can see that, but on the top here, basically it's a swamp. So when I drain the swamp, so when I put produce in there, basically it's oh look, it's coming up at me, but now finally it just started to come out, man, and this is some of the driest cucumber pulp you'll see anywhere. So let's see, I'm just going to not adjust anything, and I'm going to continue to juice some of these English cucumbers to find out what happens next. Alright, so I'm continuing to juice the cucumber here, and while we are having some level of backups, right, if you let the machine run long enough, sometimes it actually works through the backup and it'll come through. Of course, this depends on the specific fruit you have and its texture, I'm thinking the texture of the cucumbers are just kind of on that tipping point that it may work pretty good, but it also may not work super good. So if you like buy one of these and you're like, John, I saw you juice cucumbers, you did it fine, and I did the same thing and it backed up, right? Well, number one, I'm slowing down when juicing. I'm letting each one kind of go in. I'm kind of pumping the plunger back and forth, giving it some time to work, and these cucumbers, have a pretty thick skin depending on the kind of cucumber you get. May work better or worse. But so far, I've almost juiced like one whole big collection glass here of cucumbers, but I don't know if you guys can see that now. It's really kind of backing up. This is the second cucumber. But as you can see, the pulp is coming out, right? Now, if I want it to back up less, right, no problem. I don't mind it backing up a little bit on me, because I know if I have this fully tightened down, I'm going to get the highest yield, which is what's important to me. But if it's backing up too much and it's just literally not going through, you could basically loosen this outlet adjusting knob to put a little bit pressure on until some of the pulp comes out, and then the backup actually stops. So this is like, one of those like learning systems. It's not like turn the juicer on, put the produce in, and it works like a high-speed machine. You got to kind of play with this and have some fun when you're juicing, literally, and just kind of pay attention, right? But if I sit here long enough, like I did, all this actually went down into the machine and got juice. So looks like so far I've been able to juice 2 whole firm English cucumbers without issues in the Green Star Pro without even the fruit knob. Let's go ahead and go for the last English cucumber. Alright, so I think I got to take a break here actually, because my collection cup's getting full, so we're going to go ahead and pour all that out into a nice large pitcher here. I do like to basically transition the pulp catch bowl underneath so that I don't get any drips. And I'll pour this carefully in there with a nice big glass of 100% cucumber juice in the Green Star Pro. And let's go ahead and continue juicing my final cucumbers, see if literally this machine is going to do it. Alright, so after juicing about 2.5 English cucumbers, I'm now finally pretty much getting some pretty bad jamming and backing up. But what I'm doing is I'm just sitting here with the pusher trying to like help push the pulp that's coming back up at me in the machine, and slowly but surely it is actually getting worked into the machine. And then once it goes basically almost all the way down, then and only then will I put in the next piece of produce to juice here. So yeah, just I guess the main thing is have some patience. As you can see, the pulp's still coming out, man, and this is some of the driest pulp in cucumbers that I've actually ever juiced. Now the other thing I wanted to say is that, there's 2 situations you could do when it's backing up, or actually 3. Number 1, you could sit there and let it run, and maybe it'll work through the jam, through the backup, it'll start feeding in some of that stuff that's coming back up at you, and start accepting it ever so slowly in the machine. So that's actually what I'm currently doing, right? The next step, if you're impatient, right, and you don't mind if you lose some yield, you could then loosen this outlet adjusting knob just a little bit at a time until the pulp starts to free flow out a little bit. That way the backup will clear itself because there's not as much back pressure. It's this knob that is actually causing the back pressure, causing this situation to occur. The other solution you guys can do is take a hard vegetable. So in this case, I would love to do cucumber with celery. So if it was backing up really bad, I would just take a stalk of celery, take it off here, run it through the machine, right? And that would basically help push all the blocked, stopped, soft pulp in there through the machine. The celery fibers would help clear it out, push it through, and then I'd get back to juicing the cucumber. Of course, this will add some celery to your juice, which might not necessarily be a bad thing, but for those of you guys that are purists out there that just want straight cucumber juice, all right, you could do it like I'm doing. And so actually just work through pretty much all the extra pulp that's sitting in there. And let's go ahead and put the final 2 pieces of cucumber through. And so the next thing I want to say is, I make these videos for you guys to educate you guys about the juicers, the juicing, more specifically how to juice, and basically share with you guys information that you're not going to hear from any other retailer, because this is my lifestyle, this is how I live. I juice on a basically regular and everyday basis when I'm not traveling, and it has definitely changed my life, helped save my life, help keep my weight stable, help me have more energy, and help me to have a higher level of health so that I rarely, if ever, get sick. And so this is what I'm passionate about, right? And I would encourage you guys, if you guys are looking to buy a juicer, right, please support me in my work, right? Make your purchase at discountjuicers.com, right? I appreciate it when you guys do that so much, because it allows me to continue to do my work, my mission to share the benefits of the fruits and vegetables to you, especially by able to juice them. And if you buy from any other retailer, right, I'm not going to get the credit. I'm not going to be able to continue to put food on my table. I'm not going to continue to be able to pay my bills. And I'm not going to be able to continue to make these videos to educate you guys and share with you guys the truth about juicers. Both the good and the bad, right? But also, more importantly, my tips and experience with you guys so you guys can have a better time juicing, right? And please know this, like, John, I could buy from you, but so-and-so website has it for $5 cheaper. Well, I would encourage you guys to spend the maybe extra $5 with me so I can continue my work to my mission. But I understand that $5 is important for a lot of you guys, and if it is, I have a price match policy. So don't feel you got to save $5, just to buy it from somewhere else and not support me. Let me know their price. Send me a message. I'll put links down below in the description so you can contact me. Send me a link to the lower price, and I'll be glad to match the delivered price of any authorized retailer that has the item in stock selling brand new equipment to you guys, so that I could gain your business, not only in the price, which I know is important to you guys, but what's more important to me is the after service. I mean, just today had somebody with challenges getting service from Trivest and warranty service, and then they emailed me, let me know. I contacted my people at Trivest, and then basically they took care of them immediately. And so it shouldn't have to come to this, but know that I also got your back. So if you do purchase from me after warranty service, or warranty service, if you're not getting handled by the company, let me know. I'll make sure you are taken care of. And if you go to any other retailer, right, they don't have direct connections with all the companies like I do. And I could say in 100% of situations on legitimate warranty claims, all my customers have always gotten taken care of. And especially if you look at some reviews on some other websites, you can't say that for some of the other companies out there, right? Because the goal for me is not to sell you a juicer. Hey, I want to sell you a juicer. I want to continue to be able to pay my bills and do all this stuff. But I want you guys to have juicing as your lifestyle. I have seen the power the juicing could make in a person's life through actual experience, and I want you guys to become literally juicers for life. So should you have any juicer or questions even after the sale, I'm here to help you out. And of course, there's over 500 videos on this YouTube channel dedicated to showing you guys all the tips, techniques, and comparing different juicers so that you guys end up with the right one for you. Anyways, actually, as I've been yabbing, we juiced that last third English cucumber without even messing with the adjustment knob. It looks like it went all through fine and dandy, and literally those 3 English cucumbers turned into this much pulp. This is hardly any pulp here, and if I squeeze this pulp out, I mean, you can get a little bit of juice out of that, but compared to any other juicer, slow juicer, this made the highest yield, except compared to like maybe a 2-step, machine such as the pure juicer. Of course, that's going to get a higher yield. But that machine also costs like, what, 4 times the price. Anyways, here's a cucumber juice we made. And as you guys can see, 3 cucumbers, even though they're a softer texture fruit, no problem with the Green Star Pro. The main thing is you just gotta have some patience. Next, what we're gonna juice, I'm gonna get this machine cleaned up. We're gonna juice 1 whole pineapple without the fruit attachment, and maybe even some oranges to see what happens in the Green Star Pro and if I can get it to juice successfully without any attachment. Alright, so I got the Green Star Pro juicer cleaned. I'm back and we're all ready to juice some fruit without the fruit knob. Alright, so we just got the standard juicer set up with the standard knob in here, and what I'll be juicing next are some oranges. So oranges are a fruit, as are pears and persimmons and apples, grapes, cranberries, star fruits, watermelons, cantaloupes. There's many different kinds of fruits out there, and what I want to remind you guys is that although I'm juicing oranges today, if you try to juice any other fruits, it may or may not work, and I don't even know what's going to happen on these oranges here, because every fruit has a different consistency. And what I will do is I'm going to show you guys some of my tips on selecting the best fruits and how to be able to better get it to juice when juicing it alone in the Green Star Pro. That being said, as I said before, fruits will juice just fine in the Green Star Pro if you're juicing it with vegetables. So my backup plan, if you guys can see that over there, it's the carrots. Another backup plan could be jicama. And so what I mean by backup plan is if 100% straight fruit juice is not working for you, add some root vegetables, add some carrots, alternate juicing oranges with some carrots, and it's going to work beautifully. Even just a small amount of carrots could make a huge difference, right? You could use maybe 1 whole orange and just like that much piece of a carrot. It'll just help it to work through the machine so that you get the highest yield and so that the machine actually doesn't back up. And actually, personally, I would encourage you guys to eat your fruits instead of juice them. That being said, I know, fresh fruit juice is better than a soda or, other caffeinated sports beverages, energy drinks out there, right? And take a look. I have a video below on, the reasons why fruit juice is actually not that bad. That being said, I do encourage you guys to juice the vegetables, the root vegetables, especially the leafy green vegetables and other green vegetables. They are much more health beneficial to our diets, than just the fruit, although the fruit, it's quite healthy stuff. So, with that caveat being said, what I want to do is actually show you guys how to select fruit for juicing, all right? Number 1, you want to select nice, hard, and firm fruits, right? Fruits that are old and soft, smushy or mushy, have spots that are really soft. These are not going to work well. So try to get the hardest, firmest, freshest fruit you guys can, right? The second step is, or tip that I want to give you is try to juice things with the rind, right? Juicing cantaloupe, cutting off the rind and juicing just the inside can work, but if you juice the rind, there's a lot more hard fiber in the rind that will actually help push the softer inner flesh of the fruit through your machine. Even in the case of pineapples, right? You could juice pineapple rind through the juicer, and it'd be best to juice the rind with the pineapple. That being said, I don't juice pineapple rinds if they're not organic pineapples because they are sprayed with fungicides that will probably end up in your juice. Even if you try to do the best washing, you're probably not going to get them all off. Same thing with watermelons, right? Watermelon rind could really help push that softer texture of the watermelon through, although watermelon is actually something that juices fairly well in the Green Star Elite, or the Green Star Pro for that matter. Grapes, if you're juicing grapes, get hard, firm grapes, right? With the seeds, especially when juicing things with seeds that can have seeds. Try to get the seeds with the fruit and put those through the Green Star Pro also, because guess what? The seeds, those are hard fiber. This juicer is so powerful, it'll grind up those seeds and literally extract some of the nutrients out of the seeds and put it in your juice. That'll also help push some of that fiber out. That being said, do not juice pits. No peach pits, apricot pits, nectarine pits, cherry pits should be going through the juicer at any time. Alright, so yeah, select hard, firm fruits. Try to juice the peel with that. And I guess the other tip was, add some root vegetables And the other tip is, of course, loosen the outlet adjusting knob as needed, all right? So what I'm juicing today, I'll be juicing Navel Oranges. And so if you are juicing oranges, I do encourage you guys to get Navel Oranges instead of the Valencia Oranges. The Navel Oranges generally have a thicker skin and more, pith in there. So that what is the pith? The pith is the white part of the orange that if you peel it, you generally never eat it, you throw it away. But actually, that's where most of the nutrition, vitamin C, whatnot, is actually in the orange. It's in the white pith, the bioflavonoids that you're throwing away. So when I do prepare an orange to juice, I basically cut off the orange coloring, but I leave as much of the white pith as possible because I want to juice that to get some of the nutrients in the pith into my juice and consequently into me. Things like grapefruits, oranges, and tangerines the coloring should be peeled off or cut off before juicing, but on lemons and limes you can just juice them whole. So I mean, of course, I do always encourage you guys to get organic produce whenever you can, but don't think, John, I can't get organic produce, that means I can't juice. No, know this, still non-organic produce in your supermarket is still basically healthier than any other food in your supermarket in terms of the disease prevention. So don't just if I can't get organic, I can't eat fruits and vegetables. No, do the best you guys can and eat as many fruit vegetables as you can because, most other processed food products, animal products, meats, packaged foods, processed grain products, these are not that healthy and those probably aren't organic either, all right? All right, so I peeled them all off, and I guess what we're going to do, this is fully cranked in, standard outlet adjusting knob. We're going to turn that on, we're going to basically cut this into quarters here, and we're just going to start putting these segments through the machine to see what happens, all right? Always the first couple will go in without a hitch, without any issues, because there's not any kind of backup. The problem happens is once the chamber starts filling up with all the pulp and it can't come out, then it has to come back. All right, so as you guys can see, one orange has been juiced, no backups whatsoever. Next, let's go ahead and put the next orange in. Now, the other thing is I will mention is that, I did not remove the seeds out of this orange. And I believe that juicing some small amounts of seeds is totally good to do. All right, so I got the second orange in, and you guys can't see this, but as I push things in now, there's a lot of orange pulp basically coming up at me. On the cucumbers though, it worked through, but on the oranges, I'm not so sure it's actually going to end up working through. So the good news is if you just want to juice 2 oranges, no problem. If you want to juice more, that might be a situation. So let's see, we're putting the third orange in so far. It's backing up. It is working through a little bit. We are still getting some orange juice out. So yeah, now it's really backing up. There's a lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys can see that coming out of the top there. You guys can see basically when I push up, all this stuff just coming out the top. And that's basically what happens. Once again, this machine is not designed to juice straight fruits, it's designed to juice straight vegetables. So we can do 2 things at this point. I don't think this is going to clear up on its own or get any better. We could maybe try to loosen this a little bit. 2. Okay, so I clicked it maybe 3 times, and as you guys can see now, some pulp is starting to flow. So basically this is kind of simulating closely, but not exactly what a fruit attachment would do. So now that we've actually loosened that a little bit, now it's just freely going through the machine. Now know this, if you do loosen this, what's going to happen is the pulp's going to be wetter than it normally would be. So you have a choice. If you don't mind a little bit of wet pulp, which in my opinion that's pretty extremely dry compared to other juices I've used, you can leave it cranked in and then just start juicing carrots with it, right? So let's see, we have a couple more oranges to juice, so we're just going to see if we could get through the rest of these oranges with the outlet adjusting knob loosened just a tad bit. Another technique that I found that might work pretty good is I'm basically sitting here and I'm pumping the pulp, pumping the pulp. Basically bring the pusher up and down, and that might help kind of feed it through. It is still backing up a fair bit, although pulp is being ejected. I might loosen that a little bit more to see if I can get it right where I need it to be, right? The thing is, you don't want it too loose because it's going to let really wet pulp out, but you don't want it too tight, and then you're going to get a backup situation. You want it just at that right point. So you might have to just sit here and adjust it just even like, you know, 1/8 of a turn ever so slightly. So yes, looks like we got 2 last oranges to juice. Let me go ahead and get to these, and I'll share with you guys the results. Alright, so I'm down to juicing the last orange in the Green Star Pro Juicer. Looks like we still got a good backup situation here. I'll continue to loose this a little bit more. The other tip I want to give you guys is if you are juicing straight fruits like this, I will encourage you guys to use actually the more coarse juicing screen. So this juicer comes with a fine juicing screen that's actually comes assembled inside the machine, which is great for vegetable juices. And then it comes with actually a coarse juicing screen with actually larger holes that would probably be better for juicing the softer fruits. You might get a little bit more pulp in your juice, but it'll allow for some of the extra juiciness of the juice to come out more easily. All right. So let's see, going ahead. So you can see we have a nice flow on this so far, working pretty good. And although we still got a lot of backup, so. I mean, if you want to juice straight fruits, another thing you're going to need with the Green Star Pro is some patience. You know, I mean, I personally would juice all these in the VSJ43, drop them in. It'd work without issue, without me having to plunge all this stuff, without all this stuff coming back up at me, without me having to do this. But I know today that anyways, I'm getting the highest nutritional quality orange juice because I am using the Green Star Pro. All right, so last piece went in, and you know, as you can see, the pulp is kind of come out, but we have like a really bad backup and jam up here on the top. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and take one of these carrots here. I'm going to crank this basically all the way back down. We're going to try to get some of this orange pulp that's coming back up at me in there. And we're going to slowly push the carrot in. So now the carrot is now mixing with the softer orange pulp. It's running its way through its juicer. It's giving the juicer something hard and fibrous to push on. And now, as you guys can see, even though I've tightened it up, actually we're getting some of the carrot pulp to come out. Now when the carrot pulp's coming out, it's also pulling with it some of the softer orange pulp. And as you can see, we're getting some of the carrot juice now into our mixture. So I think maybe I'll juice another carrot here and try to get more of this softer pulp through. Maybe we'll even loosen this a tad to try to get this clog unjammed. Alright, so I think that last second carrot we put in really helped to kind of push out the pulp. As you guys see, we got a lot of carrot pulp coming out. I'm going to go ahead and turn off that juicer, and we're going to see what we got here. So we got mostly orange juice with some carrot mixed in. And this is a nice thicker style juice here. So this is carrot orange to your health. It's kind of cool. I think what I'm tasting in there, there's like, I don't want to say there's big chunks because there isn't. It's like big clouds or globules of the white pith that kind of got like turned into like mush and added to the juice. And it's kind of good actually. It's kind of like really neutral, so it's not like super sweet. The white pith will actually temper some of the acidity of the oranges. I don't really taste the carrots in here because I only use 2. It's nice and fluffy. It's actually quite delicious. Like, it reminds me of what Jay Kordich told me on an infomercial, is that, you know, when you literally simply press the juice out of the oranges, you're getting orange water. Yes, there's absolutely more nutrition in there than drinking water, but basically you're getting some of the nutrition from the oranges, but mostly the water and you know, some of the sweetness. But when you're juicing oranges in this way in the Green Star Pro, literally, I mean, you're turning the oranges into a little mush here, and you're going to extract the majority of the nutrition out of the oranges. And in my opinion, when juicing them in this way with the white pith. You're going to get more nutrition than you would normally get by just peeling and eating the orange, which is totally amazing. And of course, it tastes amazing as well. So this one, you know, worked with some finagling. But next I wanted to use pineapple, something that's really frustrated me in the past in the original Green Star juicer. Let me go ahead and get this cleaned up, and we'll come back at you juicing that pineapple. So now I'm ready to juice the final fruit in the Green Star Pro today, the almighty pineapple. Once again, juicing fruits with vegetables, not a problem. Green Star Pro, Green Star Elite, but juicing them alone can be challenging. So what I'm juicing today for you guys is a pineapple. I basically cut off here on this pineapple, the top and the bottom, and all the skin because it was not organic, so I'm not juicing the skin. And then as my backup plan, I basically chopped off all the skin on one jicama. I'm going to encourage you guys to start utilizing some jicama in your juice recipes. This is what it looks like. It's a root vegetable grown in Mexico normally. They can grow it in California and other tropical locations. Really rich in inulin or prebiotic fiber that can help feed your probiotics. Also has a nice neutral flavor, so that's not, you know, if you want to juice fruits and you don't want to mix it with carrots because it'll mess up the flavor of your juice, use some jicama. It generally has a really nice neutral, even milky flavor in my opinion. So we do have the juicer set up to juice vegetables with the standard small juicing screen. So I want to go ahead and take it apart, and we're going to go ahead and show you guys a juicing screen normally in there. And oops, it's right here. This is the normal juicing screen for the vegetables. Has a small hole size, but what I'll be using today and what I encourage you guys to do use if you're juicing straight fruits or want more pulp in your vegetable juices is the large hole screen. Now the large hole screen or the core screen actually has a lot larger holes, so it has less holes. So that means you know, less things could clog in there. So it's gonna be probably easier to clean because things aren't gonna get as jammed as much. But it will put more, you know, particulate or fiber in your juice. In the case of pineapples, you know, there's not a whole lot of that fiber to get into the juice like in carrots because it's pretty soft. Actually, there's very little soluble fiber in the pineapple. It's mostly the insoluble fiber. So easy to put this in. We're just going to go ahead and put that on, and then put our housing on, and easily clamp that down. Make sure you click down below to some videos I did with the Green Star Pro and the Green Star Elite, which work the same way, so you guys could learn how to use it and get some of your other questions answered, because this video is mostly about juicing the fruits. So yeah, now we're all set up, and I guess without further ado, we just chop up my pineapple. So with pineapple, you know, in some juicers you actually have to chop the pineapple up a certain way because the core could jam up many juicers. Actually, the best thing about the Green Star Pro is that it'll juice the core the best because the core has all that hard fiber that's going to help push through the softer parts of the pineapple. So basically I'm going to try to like cut the pineapple right in half and make sure I have a good selection of core in like maybe even every piece that I put through. So I'm like chopping it into like as a pie, into a pie like slices, so that every piece has some core that's going to actually go through, because the core fiber is really going to help push the softer fruit pulp through on the Green Star Pro. Alright, so let's turn that on and let's see if my pieces are too big. Yep, too big. So we're going to go ahead and cut that a little bit smaller there. And once again, this is a standard outlet adjusting knob, not the fruit knob. And we're just putting in this pineapple hole with a large hole screen, and we're going to see what happens. The other thing I might suggest, if you can't put a piece of core in on every piece, is alternate. So do a piece of non-core and then put a piece with the core. That'll help make things go through. I think that's going to be my method I'm going to use, because it's not going to work the other way for me. So this is a non-core piece, and here's a core piece. As you guys can see, we're getting actually lots of pineapple juice. This is working fairly good so far. Didn't even have to use my jicama. This is a non-core piece going right in. Oh, we're starting to get a little bit of backup here, but this core piece should help push through the non-core, although we still are getting a good amount of backup. But we got, you know, a good amount of juice too. I think we're almost about halfway done juicing the pineapple. The cool thing about juicing pineapple is it just goes through really easy. Although we are getting actually a significant amounts of backup, but we are getting a little bit of pulp coming out even at the tightest tension on the outlet adjusting knob. Let's go ahead and put another piece of pineapple through. I don't know if you guys can see that on the top there, but it's literally foaming at the mouth. Lots of foam coming out the top here. We're going to have to actually loosen this up a little bit. Let's see how many turns, alright? So let's see if we go there. Oh, that's a half a turn. Not doing it. One more turn, so there's one full turn on it. It would still have like a really big backup situation. So that's 1.5 turns total. It's still stuck in there, maybe 2 turns. Alright, 2 turns, we still have lots of backing up happening. Maybe another half turn. Looks like something's starting to come out. Alright, I mean now at this point we just took this whole thing off. And that could be an option, right? Juice with it off, and basically there's no back pressure. So you're going to get free flowing, so hopefully this over time should reduce the jam that we were actually having. And once again, use that pump technique. Another tip you guys could use, depending on the fruit, you know, the pulp coming out is pretty much all fibers and it's like the hard, like, core. You could take this pulp and actually run it back through the machine. That'll actually help, you know, push some of the softer stuff that's stuck in. Now, this may not work. It depends on the fruit you're juicing, but, you know, I did it this time. Because the pineapple is, you know, pretty fibrous in the middle. So now, as you guys can see now, we're almost getting like a lot of juice and stuff coming out the end here, so I think that's counterproductive removing this. So basically I'm going to go ahead and put that in because we're wasting like a lot of juice. And so this is kind of like maybe not going as well, but this is what it is. So that's why I got the jicama here. So we're going to go ahead and chop the jicama up, and literally by just adding, you know, alternate feeding with some jicama, it's going to clear all my problems up with the Green Star Pro. So I have this, once again, cranked down to the max now, but now we're juicing the hard jicama, something that the Green Star Pro really likes. It's like, oh, I could grab onto that fiber, I could help push that soft pineapple pulp through. And as you guys can see now, at full tightness, that pineapple pulp is coming through just because I added the jicama, and some of the overflow in the feed chute here is going down. We're going to go ahead and juice some more of the jicama here. Alright, so I pretty much got almost all the backup back into the machine, and it's pretty much almost not backed up. There's still some residual foam and stuff hanging out in the feed chute, so we're going to go ahead and put in maybe like 2 more small pieces of jicama to try to get that all the way down. I think probably if you're trying to do straight pineapple, it's probably the good idea is just to not do it. Even with the whole cap off, it was not working that well, and the pulp was coming out really extremely wet. We're going to get back to juicing the pineapple, so the technique I will use now is we're going to go ahead and put a piece of the pineapple fruit in there. This is the soft part of the pineapple. Then we're going to put a piece of the jicama in there. That's going to help push that soft stuff through. Then we're going to put a piece of the pineapple that actually had that rind stuff in there. Then we're going to actually put another piece of the jicama in there. So this is working pretty good, although the juicer is making, you know, good amount of foam as I'm juicing. And once again, this is my experiences with pineapple. Different fruits will vary different results. So don't just think, oh, John couldn't juice pineapples in here. It's not going to juice any fruits. Well, you guys saw with the cucumbers actually were great. With the oranges, it had a little bit of a challenge. But with this one, it's it's not working the best. I think what I'm going to do maybe to help it out a little bit more, even aside from juicing the jicama, is we're going to loosen this, you know, a tad bit to put a little bit of less back pressure on there, and help reduce some of this blockage. All right, now we got a core pineapple piece going in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop for a moment because what's happening is, looks like my collection cup is actually all the way full. We're going to go ahead and pull that guy out, and we're just going to go ahead and pour this juice, which is basically pineapple jicama juice. And this is a really nice mixture actually, because the pineapple is actually doesn't have a whole lot of soluble fiber that ends up in the juice, whereas the jicama is probably about 50% soluble fiber, so that's pretty good, plus all the prebiotics in there. Let's go ahead and try this. Actually, I like that a lot. Pineapple juice normally is like super sweet, right? But with the jicama, it definitely tempered down the sweetness. And to me, it's a much more enjoyable because it's not like super sweet. It's just a really kind of mellow. Now, the larger whole screen did put some fine particulate in there. You could strain that out if you want. The Green Star Pro does come with a sieve that you can use to strain out the extra fiber. But to me, it's actually enjoyable. I think I got to get back to finish juicing the rest of the pineapple and the jicama, but pretty much at this point it worked pretty good. And I want to show you guys this pulp here. This pulp is actually quite impressive. Once I started adding the jicama and the pineapple, it made a really nice, fairly dry pulp. I mean, the only drier pulp I think you're going to get is using like a two-stage juicer such as the Pure. And but once again, each juicer has their pros and cons, right? This is not the machine you definitely want to buy if you want to juice like lots of straight pineapple. I personally would use the Omega VSJ 843. That's what I normally use for pineapple. Doesn't have any issues with backing up, but you do need to make sure you pre-cut it properly, otherwise that machine will also jam. Pineapple is just one of the more challenging fruits out there to juice. Anyways, I hope in this episode you guys have learned how to juice your straight fruits with the Green Star Pro. Once again, the techniques are: 1, select hard, firm produce always. 2, try to select ones with the skin you could juice as well as seeds if possible, but no pits. 3, start juicing, see what happens. If it starts backing up, loosen the adjustment knob till pulp starts coming out, and you might have to keep doing this and playing with that. Loosen it a little bit more. Oh, you could tighten it a little bit, loosen it. You got to play with it a little bit to get it to work properly. Now, the fruit attachment that they sell might alleviate you from having to do this kind of manual feedback thing, because it will put less back pressure overall, but it's not going to solve all your ails when juicing the fruits. In my opinion, I would just use this and kind of just finagle it, like on the oranges, right? The oranges work pretty much most of the time. With a fruit attachment, it would probably work a little bit easier than having to adjust it there. That being said, I do encourage you guys also to use this coarse screen. Super important, super critical to have juice fruits more effectively in the Green Star Pro, Green Star Elite machines. And finally, be sure to add other root vegetables when juicing your fruits. Whether you want to juice some turnips, some beets, some carrots, some jicama, some radish, right? Adding some root vegetables will definitely allow you to juice fruits easier in the Green Star Pro or the Green Star Elite. Of course, if you're juicing fruits with vegetables, this machine has no problems. Just alternate fruits and vegetables and other things, and this machine's going to work great. So that's pretty much it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. Also be sure to share this video with somebody else that may have a Green Star Elite or is considering a Green Star Elite or a Green Star Pro, so that they can now learn some of my techniques that I share, so you guys could be more effective at juicing your straight fruits in the Green Star Pro or Green Star Elite. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on any of my new and upcoming episodes that are coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what I'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. There are 500 episodes at this time. Teach you guys all the aspects of the different juicers and vacuum blenders and dehydrators and other appliances that allow you to process and eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. My videos can be especially helpful if you're looking to buy that right juicer for you. Every juicer has their pros and cons, and I just basically try to show you guys how it is so you guys could make the best choice for you and your needs. So if you guys are looking to buy a Green Star Pro juicer, please check the link in the description below so you could buy it from me and support me and my work so I can continue to make videos. I appreciate it so much. And finally, with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.